Alright, so first off, I'd like to give all glory and honor to the power of Shem here, Shine back to my God, Kodash, the honors, the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you brothers out there, teaching the word of the Lord in sincerity, in our honesty, in our truth, you know, and the Lord guide, you know, all those hopeful licks, right, and keep us in the spirit, right, as this day, as the day go by, you know, we come to the end, right, and the things that will come with the end, you know, like the riotings and so forth, you know, the wars, you know, with the civil wars, race wars, class wars, you know, gender wars, you know, may the Lord keep us in that time, because that's the time we're coming to, right? It's not going to be, as some of them, you know, other groups might put it, that there ain't going to be no time of Jacob's trouble. There is going to be, right? And it's going to come, he's going to come, he's going to come down on this place, right? Like a car accident, you know, it's going to happen sudden and fast, right? A lot of people are going to be shaken, right? People are going to, you know, people are going to lose their minds, right? The scripture say in St. Matthew, it said, men's heart fail in them, you know, for those things that shall happen. You know, that's paraphrasing, right? People are going to literally their heart's going to fail them, right? There was a situation, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where a lady, you know, she was on her way back from the airport here in Jamaica, in the islands in Jamaica, right? And there was a truck, they made a stop, right? And a truck ran into the back of the car that they were in. You know, the truck, it didn't hit it hard, right? But the truck did run into the back of the car, you know, just to cause some damages. But, you know, there was also a fatality, right? And when the autopsy was done, right, the doctor said that the lady died of heart failure, right? Because she was scared, she was frightened to death, literally. She was frightened to death, right? And that's an example of what the scripture means when it said men heart failing them, right? Because they think they're going to come up on this place, they're going to be so dark, right? And so gloomious, right? You know, people, you know, can't fathom the amount of evil that's going to come up on this place now, as men as men of the Lord, you know, professing this truth, right? We gotta remain in the spirit of the Lord, right? Because if the moment you start to drift, right, and lose this spirit, right, these are the things that you leave yourself, you know, open for, right? Because lack of understanding, you know, it can cause you to fear and panic, right? As the scripture had said in is in the Apocrypha, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it is in Ecclesiasticus. It is in the, I should get that scripture. Well, let me just get this one first. Let me just read this one first, and I'm gonna get that scripture. Speaking about fear. Okay, let me get this one first. So this is Romans 13, verse 11. So, and knowing that the time, and that knowing the time, that it is no high time to awake out of sleep, for now is your salvation near than we believe. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on that armor of light, right? Which is putting on Yahweh Shai, right? Putting on the spirit, right? Because that's what's going to guide us in that time, right? The scripture said, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time and strength of salvation, right? And we gotta that's the only thing that can save us, right? We need, first and foremost, we need to call upon the name of the Lord, right? Because the Lord, the name of the Lord, you know, is all that, is the only thing that can save us, right? You know, going to these churches, right, are you know, seeking some form of having hope that, you know, this war is not going to kick off. You know, that's false hope, right? You should put you should channel that hope in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, because that is the only place where your salvation can come from, right? And you best believe that. Hey, but you know, back on point, you know, all of these people out here, they're going to experience, you know, and they're going to experience, you know, fear like they never experienced before. Why? Because they never trusted in the Lord, right? Because they trusted in their own ways, right? And saving themselves. And there is no way you can save yourself. It is not possible, right? The only salvation there is, right, is through Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, right? And not knowing that, right? Hey, you don't get me wrong. You should fear, right? But what should you fear? You should fear the Lord. What the scripture said? The scripture said the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, right? So that is where your fear should be channeled to. I'm trying to find that precept in the Apocrypha. Trying to find that precept in the Apocrypha. What is fear? Wisdom of Solomon 17 and 12. Right, it's right here. So, this is Solomon 17 and verse 12. He said, for fear is nothing but the betrayal of the succors that reasoning offer. Now, the word succors there, if I'm not mistaken, it means comfort. So fear is nothing but the betrayal of the comfort that reasoning offers. Right? So when you're not able to, when you don't understand the situation, when you don't understand a situation from the leisure, or as you should put it, the comfort of being able to reason it out, to understand, you know, to know what's going on. That is fear, right? That is fear, and a lot of people in that time, right, they're not going to know what's going on or why it is happening, right? How did their perfect utopia all of a sudden turn into this draconian, you know, type of situation? People dying around you, you're losing your loved ones, you know, you're starving to death, you can't feed your children, right? How did this happen? How did I go from, you know, partying and twerking, you know, online, making videos, to, you know, to can't not even afford, but not being able, you know, to come here, you know, put in your wigs and so forth. You know, I saw a video, I think it was, if not yesterday, I think not yesterday, before, right, with this ninjet putting on a lace wig on a child, me a baby, I'm no more than about 3 or 4 years old. You know, and that shit's crazy, but that is the world that we live in today. You know, and it is wild. It is wild. It's you know, it's madness. Right? The scripture says, my people are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. Right? And you see this on a daily basis. Right? It's crazy. You know, but you see, you have to expect, you know, dogs to bark, right? And you know, cats to do what cats do, meow, or whatever you want to call it, right? You have to expect these things from, you know what you know, that's what they're meant to do. They're reprobates, right? The scripture said the Lord give them over to a reprobate mind, right? And that's what you have to expect from them, right? But as for us, we need to know and remember the time that we're in, you know, and what is expected of us. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:1. He said, but of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then suddenly destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right? But little do they know that there's no escape for them. So they can keep going gilliganting and skylarking, thinking that all is well, trying to make the best out of the worst. But hey, the worst is yet to come. Right? The worst is yet to come. And we in the truth, we brothers, and you have the few sisters that listen, we got to keep ourselves sharp, right? We got to keep ourselves in the spirit, right? Because you don't want that spirit to slip from you, right? You want to keep that momentum going, right? You want to keep, in that frame of mind all the time. You understand? You don't want at any point, you find yourself drifting like these people, or getting to a point where you become complacent, right? And not knowing what's taking place around you, right? That's why you ought to be watching, watching and paying attention to what's going on, right? You don't want this knowledge to slip from you. Right, especially not now, right, in the time that we're in, right, and people might say, oh, we're talking about, whatever the times, and it's not that serious, but you say that because you don't understand, right? You're not watching. But hey, if you have been watching what's going on at least from 2010, then you'd have realized how scary of a situation this is. Right, the war could have started at any time. Like legit, the war could have started at any time. Right, it's the Lord Himself. Hold it for just as He mentioned in Revelation 7. He said, earth not the sea until they have sealed the servants of this power in their foreheads. Right, that is all that's stopping this thing from going down. And you best believe it. And that time is coming to an end shortly, right? Because hey, you might not know because you're not seeing. You might not know because you're not seeing, everyone, that's in this truth, grouped up at one place, and you can count and say, oh look, that number looks big, so maybe it will be that time. No, but the Lord is sealing His servants, in whatever crevices or corners in the earth they are. That's why I know that there are camps as far as Australia, and that's way on the other side. Let me just finish this. He said, but ye brethren are in darkness, that they should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light and children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. Alright, I think I'm going to say shalom until the next one.